Hey, we're up to Mem Aleph Amid Beis. Mem Aleph Amid Beis, 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, about 16 lines in the bottom, the two dots, Tan Rabbanan. Now we saw yesterday, the pasuk that Sakal Yisakal Ashar, Lo Yachles B'Saroi, Ubal Ashar Naki. So we had the first limud we had was that you learn from Bal Ashar Naki, that's Asa B'Hana. We had another limud. We had the limud of Rabbi, who learned the Issa Hana from the Shayrish of Ye'achel. And so therefore, what do you do with Bal Ashar Naki? So we saw one opinion yesterday. You're going to use it for the R to teach me that despite the fact that you might think that the R is muta, right? No, Sakli Sakal Ashar, that Bal Ashar Naki completely Naki, even the skin of a Shar Niskal is Asa B'Hana. Now today we're going to have other opinions as to what, and this is the ganze daf. That's why I held off on it yesterday. Other opinions as to what we learn out from the pasuk of Ubal Hashar Naki. Again, the pasuk sees that the pasuk we saw is that if a shar gores, v'chiyigach shar es ish or es isha. This is the pasuk of Tam umeis sakli sakal hashar v'loyachal es b'sarai Ubal Hashar Naki. So one opinion, Bal Ashar Naki, that what he was Naki from Asa B'Hana, or Bal Ashar Naki was Asa to have Hana from the skin. And says the Gemara, Batan Rabbanan, Ubal Ashar Naki, Rabbi Eliezer Omer, the great Rabbi Eliezer Gadol, Rabbi Eliezer Ben Hukna says, Naki mechatzi kofer, that it's a tam. Again, the pasuk of Bal Ashar Naki is speaking about a tam. If a tam would go ahead and kill, we know there's a parsha of Mu'adam in Kaifa Yushas Alav. That's in Shar Nagachod Miltmod Shul Shloim. If the Shar goes 3 times, and the 4th time, Machlokes would be passing the 4th time, you were going to go ahead right and be then you pay Kaifa. What about a tam? Does a tam pay Chatzi Kofer? So says Rabbi Eliezer, that's what I learned from Ubal Ashar Naki, that he's Pata, he's Naki from Chatzi Kofer. Amalai Rabbi Akiva said to his Rabbi Eliezer, where do you collect a tam from? You collect it from the body. And what now? Where are you're going to collect from the body? Where is this body now, guys? This body is stoned. This body has been stoned. You don't have a body, right? It's Asa B'Hana. You have a body that's Asa B'Hana. And now what do you want to say? That you should pay kaifa? Says Rabbi Eliezer, how did you have a hava? Why do you need a pasuk to tell me you don't pay chatzi kofer? You should pay chatzi kofer. The tashlumin of a tam is from the body. The body is dead. It's Asa B'Hana. So what do you mean? Why do I need a pasuk to tell me you don't pay chatzi kofer? It's pashut you don't pay chatzi kofer, right? But you can't collect. The time collects from the body, and for this, so that's Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Akiva times Rabbi Eliezer. Hey, if you have Bezdin, bring him to Bezdin via Shalem, and since you can't bring him to Bezdin because he's dead and it's Asa B'Hana, forget about it. Amalei Rabbi Eliezer, Kachani be'enai, says Rabbi Eliezer to Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva, this is what you think I'm asking? Shadini bizeh shechayv misa. That I'm learning my din that chatzi kaifa from Bal Ashar Naki, where you're killing the shar. Ein dinai ella kishehemes esa adam al pi echad or al pi bailim, right? Either where you're being, it's where the shar will not be killed. Where it's either al pi the Baal is admitting the truth, or the you have an eid echad, but you don't have what? You do not have Adim to kill the shar. That's where I said you need the Bal Ashar Naki where it doesn't get killed, and you're going to sell the shar. Maybe you're going to pay kaifer. Says the Gemara, Al pi bailim ma'id b'kanas who, right? It's ma'id b'kanas. Says the Gemara, who kasava kufr kapara. Rabbi Eliezer of the opinion that kufr is the kapara, and a person is not going to be ma'ida. Why? Because he wants to get his kapara. If kaifer is the kapara, he wants to get it. So says Rabbi Eliezer, where do I need the pasuk of Bal Ashar Naki in a case where the shor is not mechuyev misa because you don't have 2 edim? right? In that scenario, I need a pasuk to tell me. You might think since the the shor is chayiv to pay, it's not you're not going to kill the shor, so you might think you sell the gufa. You pay chatzi kaifer, kamash milanu bala shor naki. You don't pay chatzi kaifer. That's Rabbi Eliezer shita. Tanya idach, another brisa as to the dialogue between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva. Amalei Rabbi Eliezer, Akiva, kachani beinecha, shedine bizeh shechayiv nisa, and dili elabim miskavin laharages behema beharages adam. I wasn't speaking in a scenario where what? I wasn't speaking in a scenario where he be chayiv nisa. Why? Where? So where this? We answered before. There was either P1 aid or 2 aidim. I'm not speaking in that scenario. I'm not speaking in that scenario. I'm speaking in a scenario where miskavin lahari gezeh v'hari gezeh. The shor, it wanted to go ahead what? It wanted to kill a person, and it ended up killing another person. No, excuse me. It wanted to kill an animal, and it killed a person. The Mitzri, it wanted to kill a Mitzri v'hari Yisrael. The Nephalim, it wanted to kill a Nephil. It's not a miscarried child. The child is going to die. V'harig ben Kayama, right? That's what he said. That's where, in that case, where he'd be pater from skila. We're going to see later on, guys. The Mishnah. He's pater from skila. In that case, where he's pater from skila, you might think he's chayiv chatzi kaifer. Therefore, the pasuk tells me. Okay. So again, what's the kasha? Ubala sharnaki, you don't pay chatzi kaifer. Fred the Gemara. Where in the world can you pay chatzi kaifer? The chiyuv is to pay megufa. It's dead. It's asabai. No, you can't go ahead and pay it. Says the Gemara. No, speaking about a scenario where you don't kill it. Either the first scenario is what because it was al piyei echad or al piyei atzmai. The second scenario where it was mechavan laharigas habehema and it killed a person. In that case, you might think you pay chatzi kaifer. You don't pay chatzi kaifer. And in that case, the animal's not dying, right? In that case, the animal's not dying. Now the question was hayom liberation. Which one was stated first? Hayom liberation. Which answer did Rabbi Eliezer give to Rabbi Akiva? In other words, there's two possible answers over here. One, al piyei echad or al piyei atzmai, or two, niskav laharigas behema laharigas adam. Which one did he go ahead and give first? So Rav Kana mishmei the Rava Amar, right? He niskavin Amar liberation. That was the first one. Niskavin is the one he said first. Daf Yomi mishmei the Rava Amar mehemis al piyei echad al piyei atzmai. He said first. Now, which one is more mistabra? Let's see Rashi. Miskavin amalei bereisha. The raya gedoylehi. That's a bigger raya. In other words, that's a better teretz. The teretz of miskavin is better than the teretz of hemis al piyatzmai al piyedechad. The lahai vaday itzrichra. You need a pasuk of vad ubal sharnaki. That you need. In other words, where the shor is miskavin to kill a behema and killed an adam. In that case, I need a pasuk to tell me ubal sharnaki. Aval hemis al piyedechad. Oh, right, raya katanahi. That's a shvacha raya. The ikaloi sube, because you could ask a kasha. Moed b'kanas pata. Even I ubeidechad nami, where it's not a shayla moed b'kanas. Ikalamema pshita d'lei mechayim. The trebin, you need two lafukim imayna to go ahead and be mitzi mamin. You always need two people. Al pishnai meidim yakum davar. Va'afil gabi muad nami pata. So in other words, if you're going to tell me a teretz, a better teretz, that we need a pasuk to mechayim michatzi kaifer, it's clearly in the case where it's miskabel lahariga behema and it killed a person, because we don't have any kash on that. Mashen came the case of what where hemis es al piyei echad, right? So l'chayr that's so pashut. I need a pasuk to tell me that you don't pay chatzi kaifer. Of course you don't pay chatzi kaifer. One aid's not going to do the job. Al piyatzmai might be is pata. In other words, that teretz is very easily to do away with. That I don't need a pasuk for that. So therefore, which one is mistaba that he said first? That's the question. So in other words, we're establishing of the two terutzim that Rabbi Eliezer gave to Rabbi Akiva, the superior one is the one that was said latter, the one of miskaving. Guys, let's just listen. Let's see makatzim miskaving, whereas kavanah was kill an animal. But the one of hemis al piyei echad, that's more shvach. So the question is, which one did he say first? Okay, so let's go through it now. So Rav Kahana mishmei the Rava Amar miskavin amalei bereisha. In other words, he said the better raya first. Rav Tavyumi mishmei the Rava Amar, and Rav Tavyumi said in the name of Rava, hey mis amalei bereisha, killing al piyei echad or al piyei atzmai said first. Rav Kana Mishmei Rav is that he said the Miskaven, the better one first. Amalei Bereisha Mashal Itzayid. It's a mashal to a fisherman. Sheshoyla Dogim in Ayam, who is going ahead and drawing his nets from the sea, he's capturing fish from the sea. Okay, Mishkach Ravavi, if he finds a large fish, Shakali takes it. Zutri, if he finds a smaller fish, Shakali also takes it. So therefore, he found which one did he say first? The better one, the large fish, the one of Miskavein, and then the latter one, he didn't throw away. He didn't throw it away. Why? Because he got his meal already. He had his cake and he ate it too. So he had the better raya, and then he accepted the shvacha raya of Hemis al Echad. Rav Daf Yomi Mishmei Rav says no. Hemis amalei bereisha. He told the shvacha one first. Mashal et sayid sheshoyla dogim en ayam mishkach zutre shakol. If the first things he takes in is what is the small ones, he takes them because he doesn't know what's going to come afterwards. Mishkach Ravavi in the second time around. Mishkach Ravavi finds the large fish. Shodei Zutri, then he throws away the first round, and Shakal Ravavi, and he takes what? He takes the large one. So that's what Daf Yomi said, that he must have mentioned first what? The Shvacha reason, the one that we gave first, the one of Hemis, Al Echad, and then finding what? A better one, the one of Miskavein, then he rejected the first one. That's the way Daf Yomi learns the dialogue. So guys, we're good. Bottom line is, where Eliezer uses the pasuk of what? Of Bala Shanaki to teach me that you put from Chatzi Kaifer. The original opinion, Bala Shanaki, was what? To tell me that you are Asa Behana. The Brisa told me that what? That it's Asa Behana. That was the two pshatim so far. Another pshat. Tanya Idach. Bala Shanaki. Rabbi Yossi Aglili Oimer Naki Midmei Velodais. Okay, so let's see. What is the pasuk? What is the pasuk? Shmois Chav Aleph. V'chi Nashim, you have two men are fighting. V'nak v'isha hara, and they hit a pregnant woman. V'yatsa yiladaha, and she miscarries. V'layiyah asain, and there's no accident in the woman, meaning the woman doesn't die. Anishi anish, right? And you punish him. Kashayash is a love, bala isha, v'nasim b'flilim, right? And this is called the Vladais. You're going to pay the Vladais to what? However, in Masiya, in the Satan Nefesh, you're not going to pay because we're going to say, come lay with the Rabbi Minei, if anything happens fatally to the woman. Okay, so this is called the Vladais. So the Vladais is two men fighting where they inadvertently hit a woman and the woman miscarries and the woman lives. You're going to pay the Vladais to the Baal. Says Rabbi Yossi Aglili that if a shor goes ahead and hits a pregnant woman and she miscarries, the owner of the shor does not pay the Mei Vladais, right? It's to exclude Mei Vladais. Okay. Amar Rabbi Akiva, Hariyoim, it says ki natsu anashim v'lei shvarim. Then why would I need a pasuk to tell me that you don't pay the Mei Vladais? The pasuk says it. In other words, guys, why do I need Ubala Sharnaki? Guys, why do I need Bala Sharnaki to tell me that? Doesn't the pasuk itself tell me that? Again, I'm reading to you the pasuk. Says the pasuk, "V'chiyunatsu anoshim," men are fighting, men and not oxen, men and not shvarim. So why do I need a bala sharnaki to tell me you put for made vladais when the whole pasuk is speaking about men? In other words, the pashtus dialogue of the pasuk gets him out of the ballpark. Not that you need a limud for bala sharnaki knocking midway vladais, right? That's the Gemara's kasha. So what's pshat Rabbi Yossi Aglili? That's what we want to know. That's what Rabbi Akiva asked Rabbi Yossi Aglili. Pashut pshat, says the Gemara. Shtapik Amar Rabbi Akiva. L'chay Rabbi Meir is saying what? Very good. So why does Rabbi Yossi Aglili need the pasuk of bala sharnaki for that? Yeah. Amar Rav Ula Bereid Ravidi Itzrich. He's still need bala sharnaki. In other words, fellas, guys outside, I would have thought from the pashtus of the pasuk, you would pay Mei Vladais. Therefore, you need Bala Sharnaki. Tell me you don't pay the Mei Vladais. Now we just have to figure that out because pashtus of the pasuk it's only speaking about a person. It's not speaking about shor like Rabbi Akiva. In other words, comes along ula is going to uptight no. So sakhlech meaning the following: when it says anoshim v'lei shvarim, it means anoshim v'lei shvarim hadoimim la'anoshim. It doesn't mean to exclude a shor. It means to exclude a shor when the shor is not like the person. Ma anoshim mu'adim, af shvarim mu'adim. Hatam, but metam mechayev. In other words, adam mu'ad l'olam. So the anosh, the mu'id, the shor that's similar to the man is a mu'id. So I'd say a mu'id is out of the parsha of the Mei V'Lados from the pasuk itself, but a tam would be mechayev in the Mei V'Lados. Therefore, I need koser rachmana balashanaki depata. So guys, let's set this up. The chiyuanats anashim, men are fighting. A shor dumi to men. So in other words, we're excluding something from the pashtus of the pasuk. Guys, look at me. I'm reading the pasuk the following. Here's the way I'm reading it: the way that Ula read the pasuk. If men are fighting, good, then shvarim are out of the parsha. Good, because it says men, it doesn't say shor. Good, and the kasher is, so why don't you need bala shor naki to take out a shor if the men take out shor? Says Avula, I would say the pasuk excludes a shor that's similar to the man. What is the status of a shor that's similar to a man? A mu'id, adam mu'id lo'ilam. Therefore, I would say, you know who pays made the vlados? A man. Which shor doesn't pay the made vlados? A shor amuid. But what about a tam? I would say a tam would pay, if not for Bal Hashar Naki to tell me you don't pay. That's the limud. In other words, you have two components over here: the pashtus of the pasuk, ubal Hashar Naki. The Gemara is asking, why do I need Bal Hashar Naki to go ahead and take the a shor out of the mevlados? The pasuk does. And for the Gemara, the pasuk only takes out one type of shor. It only takes out mu'id. It doesn't take out tam. It only takes out mu'id. Why? Because you're learning from the pasuk itself a shor that's similar to a man, which is a mu'id. Now, it's a wonderful drasha, except for one thing. You would have a havamina that a tam is Muhammad than a mu'id? That you need a pasuk to tell me that? Guys, what are you telling me? A mu'id, no, it doesn't pay the mevlados, but a tam should. So therefore, I need a pasuk to tell me not. That's the problem with the. Okay, let's see it inside. Says the Gemara. So one more time. Amarav ula bereid ravidi itztrich. I need the pasuk about Sharnaki. Sachlech. I mean, I would have thought anashim v'lei shvarim adayim anashim. Who's out of the ballpark? Men are in the ballpark, and the shor that's similar to this man is out of the ballpark. Ma'anashim muadim, avshvarim muadim. Hatam mechayev. If not for the pasuk, koser chon bal Sharnaki the pata. Amarava yitziva ba'ara. The Giyura b'shmei shmaya, the person that, and this is the Torah's fancy way, the Gemara's fancy way of saying your logic is totally backwards. Literally, it's the citizen is in the land and the strangers in the sky. Really, what it means is in the middle that you should be more chomer for a tam, that you need a bala shanaki to exclude a tam, right? That doesn't make sense. So therefore, back to the same kasha. Why don't we need Bala Sharnaki to take me out of the Mevlados? Doesn't the fact that it says Ki Natsu Anoshim V'Shvarim take me out? So Marava, it's the Sakla. I mean Anoshim V'Shvarim Hadoim El Anoshim Ma Anoshim Muadim Av Shvarim Muadim. The Kavachoymel the Tamim. A Kavachoymel that a Tam the Petit they should be Pata. But the Kasar Rachmana Bala Sharnaki Tam Pata Umud Chayiv. So therefore, I got a second pasuk to tell me right that Tam is Pata. And a mu'id is taka chayiv bin mevlados. Right now, guys. So I'm taking a shor similar to a man is out of the ballpark. Bala Shanaki goes ahead and takes out mu'id, takes out tam. When that takes out tam, it must reinstate mu'id. Let's see Rashi here. Koser Rachmana Bala Shanaki, L'meimar, the loy darshinan, we don't darshin. Anoshim v'lei shvarim hadoimim la'anoshim elatam pato mu'ud chayiv. Guys, look at me again. Let's do this again. We're gonna do it good. The literal pasuk is again speaking about a man. A man's a muad. He pays made vladais. A shar that's similar to him doesn't because he's not a man, and the pasuk says a man. That's what I would have said if not for the Bala Sharnaki, that everyone's out of the ballpark, right? Muad's out of the ballpark. Tam's out of the ballpark. Good. Now here's what I'm saying. I'm saying that Muad's out of the ballpark, right? And Tam's out of the ballpark, right? Comes along to the second part of the pasuk and says Ubala Sharnaki. What must that mean to tell me? It must mean to tell me that the Tam is out of the ballpark, but the Muad is in the ballpark because I don't make this drasha. When I have Bala Sharnaki, it circumvents this drasha that this drasha is not a drasha. That this, the Pasha Bala Sharnaki guys is said in the pasuk of Tam. Why would I say it? It must be because Muad's in the ballpark. So according to this limud, Muad would be chayet made vladais. And when he says pat made vladais, he's speaking about, of course, he's speaking about a Muad, a Tam. Amle Abaya, Elamiyata. If you're telling me that a Muad's in the ballpark of paying made vladais, gabe boishes nami, regarding the Pasha of Boishes, right? The Pasha of Boishes is found in Devarim Chav Hey, Yud Aleph Yud Beis. Kinatzu anashim yachtav, two men are fighting. Ish v'achiv, v'karve eishes echad lahatzlas isha, and one woman comes to save her husband. Miyad makeo, from the one who's hitting her husband. The sholch yadav echzikim v'ushav, she sticks out her hand and she grasps him by his private parts. The katzai says katba, you cut off a hand. Like sachas einecha, don't have rachmanis. Again, don't take it literally, but we'll say that in the parsha of Busha, nami neima hachi. Again, the pasuk says anoshim, right? So let's make the following drasha. Anoshim v'leishvarim adoim el anoshim. Ma anoshim muadim ashvarim muadim. V'kavachem letamim depetiri. Hadakasim rachmana u'bala sharnaki. Tam pater u'muad chayiv. A tam is pater and a muad is chayiv. So you know what? It could be that it could be I just told you the wrong pasuk. It could be it's not going that pasuk at all. That is the parsha of Busha. That's the parsha of Busha, and it says two guys are fighting there, but it doesn't say Bala Sharnaki there. Or maybe the Bala Sharnaki there is to tight up the pasuk over there. Either way, let's go ahead and have the same limud. When it says Bala Sharnaki by Tam, let's say a Tam is out of the ballpark of Busha, but a muad be in. If you can say achanami, just like a muad is chayiv in the Mei Vladais, so to a muad is chayiv in Busha. Ihachi listening Bala Sharnaki, right? Rabbi Yossi Aglima pater mid Mei Vladais u'mebaishes. Rabbi Yossi Aglili should say two things. It's pater for the Mei Vladais and pater from Baishes. But it doesn't say that. So therefore, guys, we have a problem. We don't understand why we need the Pasha of Bala Sharnaki. We've just done away with all the limudim. We did away with the Chvinat Svanashim over there. That should do the job. Complete absolution of the shar. Whether it's a tam, whether it's a muad, it's out of the ballpark of Mevladais. Why do I need Bala Sharnaki to tell me that? Okay. Ela Abai v'Rav Nam Shavayu. Okay. It says Anashim ein asayin beisha yanshu. Men who, if there is the woman is not killed, then they pay. Right? Why? Because we don't say kamle b'derab minei. Yesh asan beisha. If there is an accident in the woman, meaning the woman does die, then lo yanshu. Then they don't pay. Kamle b'derab minei. So v'lo shvarim the afagav the yesh asan. Even if the woman does die, Yeanshu, because we don't say come let Ray Rabbi Mine. So now we have a limit, guys. Who's in the ballpark of Mevladais? Right? That's when you have a chiyuv at the Mevladais. When's the chiyuv at the Mevladais? That's when the woman lives. If the woman dies, there's no Mevladais. What happens to shar? Whether the woman lives or not, you're going to pay. There's no kamle. So I would have a havamina. You do pay Mevladais. That I need Bala Sharnaki to tell me you don't pay my brothers. Because Rahmana Bala Sharnaki did pata. That Bala Sharnaki tells me that what? That you're pata. Okay, let's go. Let's conclude the teretz. Guys, let's say what we did this evening so far. Bala Sharnaki, what does it come to teach me? According to Rabbi Eliezer, it comes to teach me Chatzi Kaifer. According to Rabbi Yossi Gluli, it comes to teach me Chatzi the Mei Vladais. You don't pay the Mei Vladais. Fred the Gemara, why do I need a pasuk of Bala Sharnaki to tell me you don't pay the Vladais? After all, the whole pasuk is speaking about what? Men, Men paid the mevadais, mashma shavarim don't. Says the Gemara, you know when the shar men don't pay the mevlad, when men only don't pay the mevadais in a certain scenario. They only don't pay mevadais when the woman dies. If the woman lives, they do pay mevadais. The shar doesn't make a difference whether the woman dies or not. He's paying. So I had to have a mina, since he's not similar to the men. In the case where even if he kills the woman, you pay mevladais to the husband. Kamashmon and balashanaki, you don't. So those are the limudim from the two cases. Maskiv law Rav Ada Barava Atabaasan Talia Milsa. What does it have to do with the woman dying? The kavana Talia Milsa. It has everything to do with kavana. Now we saw in Elin Iris, we mentioned the other day, according to the Tane Bechizkiya fellas, the tour of Kamlev the Rab Mine is Bain Ba'onis, Bain Baratzen. It does make it Bain B'Shogeg, it doesn't make a difference. There's an opinion, however, that Dafka B'Kavana you Mechuyev Misa, without Kavana you're not. That's the opinion of Rav Shimon. So this goes according to that opinion. The opinion of Rav Shimon, who says in Masechta Sanhedrin, a miskavim to kill one person and you kill another person, that you're not be chayiv. Alam Rav Ada Barava, Anoshim ki niskavnu zelazeh. They mechavim for each other. Afagav sheyesh aslan beisha yanshu. Doesn't make a difference. Ki niskanu leish atzma lo yanshu. Okay, so if they're mechavim to each other and the woman dies, then you're going to pay the mevladais. If they're mechavim for the woman, you're not going to pay the mevladais. V'lo shvarim da fil niskav leisha atzma yanshu. Even if they're mechavim for the woman herself, you're not going to say kamlei and you get punishment. So therefore, I would say you pay the mevladais because the chamana balashanaki did pata, that you're pata for mevladais. Bottom line is, we analyze that pasuk, one component, each component of the pasuk, and the bottom line is we're concluding that only in the case where men, only when they're mechavin to kill the woman, they don't pay mevladais. The shar, even if mechavin to kill the woman, you would pay mevladais if not for the pasuk of ubalas charnaki. Very good. Thank you, Yosef Rav Chagi mitroima. Asa Isi Masnisa Biyadi. He came and brought the following mission in his hands. Kavasi the Rav Ada Bar Ava. Right? Kavasi like Rav Ada Bar Avis Teretz that what? That even though you Adam is only miskavit, pays the Vadas and miskavit to get each other, but not them miskavit to give the woman. But it's sure that miskavit to get the woman doesn't still would pay if we need Balas Shanaki. Hani Idach, Balas Shanaki, another Pshat and Balas Shanaki. So we're having now a fourth Pshat, guys, right? We have three Pshatim. What are they? Issa Hana, Issa Oiroi, the May Chatzi Kaifer, and a fourth Pshat, the May Vladais. Here's the fifth Pshat. If Akiva says, Naki midemei Eved. If a tam, we know, guys, that an Eved, if a Muad kills an Eved, you pay Shloishim Shel Eved. Set amount, Dova Kotzev, a Kanas, the classic Kanas, right? No matter what the Eved's worth, you're going to pay what? No matter what the Eved's worth, you're going to pay 30. That's only by a Muad, not by a tam. So that's what Balas Shanaki is teaching me. The pasuk of Balas Shanaki is speaking about a tam, right? A tam is Naki from the May Eved. A tam is Naki from the May Eved. Naki means the May Eved. Amid Beis. The name Rabbi Akiva Linavshe. Why doesn't Rabbi Akiva say what he told Rabbi Eliezer himself? We began the shir, guys. So that was the first thing. Rabbi Eliezer said that it's part from Chatzi Kaifer. What did Rabbi Akiva say? How in the world can he pay Chatzi Kaifer? Bring the dead body, you can collect from there. We said the show is getting skila, right? It's getting skila. There's no shor here to collect from. He's a dead carcass of a skila. So why doesn't Rabbi Akiva asked to Rabbi Eliezer? Why doesn't Rabbi Akiva ask it on himself? How could you have a havamina who paying shleishim shaleved from the carcass? Since it's a tam, you pay from the carcass and the goof is worth nothing. So why do I need a pasuk of Balas Shanaki to tell me that you put from the May Eved, the same taina that Rabbi Akiva told Rabbi Eliezer he should tell himself? Let him speak to himself, right? L'chaira, where are you going to collect from? You're going to collect from the carcass? So go collect from the carcass. And you can't. So I don't need Balas Shanaki to tell me that. I know the fact that you collect me gufay. So Fred Gemara, name Rabbi Akiva L'navshe, let him tell himself. Have you lebezdim yishalim lach? Bring it to bezdim, you collect from it. Amrav Shmuel Baruch Yitzchak. I'll tell you why you need the pasuk of Balas Shanaki to tell me you put from the May Eved. Kishekodem bala v'shachtoi. He didn't. It's not a. It's before the Gemara din, so therefore the shchita is a good shchita. The meat is kosher b'yasha. So in that scenario where it's not a carcass, but it's a filet mignon, right? So I might think you go ahead and collect. Therefore, you need Baal Shem Naki. Tell me you don't collect Shleish Mechalevet. So Ma'adatayim L'Shtalimine, go collect the 30 ever from that. Kamashbal in the pasuk of Baal Shem Naki. Since the shar's din is to die, Afagav the shachte, even though you beat him to the punch and you shechted it, you can't collect from that. Good. So Chatzi, they don't pay the Meyeved. In the case of what? In the case where you beat him to the punch before the Gemara din and you shechted it. Ihachi Rabbi Eliezer Nami. Rabbi Akiva asked him this question. Why don't you say the same thing? When do I say you put from Chatzi Kaifer? It's speaking Kishekodim Ushachdoi, and you might think you pay Chatzi Kaifer from the filet mignon. Why didn't he give that teretz, guys? Why did Rabbi Eliezer Taina? He said, you think I'm speaking about a case where it's dying? I'm speaking about a case where what? Where he's moida, or he's one echad, or it's speaking about a case where it's scabbing for an animal and he ended up killing a person. Why didn't he tell him the same Torah that Rabbi Akiva is pointing to himself? It's speaking in a case where Einachinami, it killed, and then Einachinami, it should die. But before the Gradin, there was a shchita. I would have a havamina. You collect the chatzi koifer from the filet mignon. You don't. Why don't we give that teretz? Hihachi Rabbi Eliezer. Why don't you give that teretz? The shekadim shachtoi hachinami Einachinami. That was acceptable teretz. However, the savar dilma islay taima achrita the atav mehai v'nemalei. So what? Maybe Rabbi Eliezer has a better reason that's better than that. In other words, Rabbi Akiva must have held it's a doichetik teretz, and he knew that teretz, that it could have been speaking in ukimta, so he wanted to go ahead and say, you know what, maybe it's a better teretz. I don't know if he came up with a better teretz. I don't know if Hemas al Yedei Atzmai or Miskav and Lahorgas of Behema, I know if it's better, but Rabbi Akiva was checking his Rabbi Eliezer, what the story is, guys. Okay? Rabbi Eliezer, Nami Lishani Lei. Okay, so good Rabbi Akiva didn't accept that teretz when he asked the kasha. But why didn't Rabbi Eliezer give that teretz? That it's speaking kadam shachtoi. So Amalei, Rabbi Eliezer has held it's not as far to say this. Hasam hu din eskavul haragas behema v'haragas adam the shor lav bar katala hu klau. That case, the shor is not about klau at all. The sakadai d'chamina nechayev. It's the kro l'mu'utei. Because where is the biggest svara to say you should pay Chatzi Kaifer? Guys, look at me. We're now giving two reasons, right? We want, why was Rabbi Akiva's taina? Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Eliezer, what do you need Baal Shanaki for? You're going to collect from the body. The body is a dead taita. It's a taita. It's worth nothing. So, of course, you don't pay Chatzi Kaifer. So why did Rabbi Eliezer taina? He went ahead and he tainted. What about a case where it was a al pei echad? Good. Why didn't he give the teretz that it kadam b'shachtoi? Now, what's the case of kadam b'shachtoi? You had to aid him, and therefore the shor is what? Is chayiv skila. You beat him to the punch because you shechted before the gemar din, right? There, since it's the bar katala, it's less of a svara to pay Chatzi Kaifer. Masha Enkain, where it was never Chayiv Misa, because you only had one aid, there's more of a svara to be Chatzi Kaifer. So you want to know why Rabbi Eliezer did not give Rabbi Akiva's teretz? Because he held it for Shvacha teretz. He held his teretz. Why need Baal Sharnaki to tell me you don't pay Chatzi Kaifer? Because it's not about Katola, because there was only one aid. Or in the Skavan Laharagesa Behema Baharagesa Adam. In that case, it's not Chayiv at all. So in a case where the shor is not chayiv at all, I would have a minute to pay Chatzi Kaifer, Kamashma Baal Sharnaki, that you don't. Rather than Rabbi Akiva's case of where it's taka chayiv skila, but through a loophole you beat it to the punch and you shechted before the Gemara din. How are we doing, guys? Okay. Well, Rabbi Akiva Nami. Vadei hachi habe. So the question is, why if it's, why do I need a pasuk to tell me that Bala Shanaki, you don't pay the Me'eved? If you, Rabbi Akiva, said it's speaking about where it was the Bar Katola and he beat it to the punch, like still there's no svara to say it. In other words, the svara of Rabbi Eliezer is so strong that when it's a Bar Katola that there's no chiyuv, then why did Rabbi Akiva use that? Guys, what did Rabbi Akiva say? Guys, you have to, it's a cheshbon Gemara. Bala Shanaki, says Rabbi Akiva, Patav Me'eved. Fred the Gemara, why did Rabbi Akiva say the same thing you told Rabbi Akiva? Of course you Patav Me'eved, right? It's a dead carcass. And for the Gemara, it's not a carcass, it's filet mignon. Was this filet mignon chayiv misa? Guys, was this animal chayiv misa? Yes. Yes. You had to aid him. So what kind of svara is just because you beat him to the punch, you'd have a havamina to go ahead and you can collect? This animal is destined to die. You just shechted it before the skila. They were to aid him. It's mechuyev skila. And therefore Rabbi Eliezer said his svara of what? Eid echad, where it's not chayiv skila. So if Rabbi Eliezer is correct, because he could have given Rabbi Akiva's teretz but didn't, l'chayr Rabbi Akiva has to say, 1 second, he's right. So good, I used the loophole to go ahead and give a shchita so the meat is kosher. But vis-a-vis collection, it's asa. You can't use it. So back to the original question. Why does Rabbi Akiva need Ubala Sharnaki to tell me you don't make the Me'eved? What's the svara you should make the Me'eved? It's either a carcass or filet mignon that came from what? From death. So Fred Gemara, so therefore, question, why therefore does Rabbi Akiva need a pasuk of Shpala Shanaki to tell me you don't pay the Me'eved? I heard this from a great person, and what's his name? Rabbi Yosi Reb Chanina. His name is Rabbi Yosi Reb Chanina, who's going to answer Rabbi Akiva. Shal Kedai Chanina, Hoyel V'Am Rabbi Akiva. She'af Tam Shechavu Ba'adam Mishalim B'Maisin Ezek Shalem. We saw in Daf Lamed Gimel, if a shar hits a shar, we make a cheshbon, whichever was more pays more. Tam muad Adam. We said even a tam that damages an Adam, Rabbi Akiva says pays Nezek Shalem. So what would you think? So since it's Chavu Ba'adam Mishalim B'Maisin Ezek Shalem, I would think Mishtalim Namei Demei Eved Mei Aliyah Chasur Achmana Bala Sharnaki. So therefore, like Rabbi Akiva l'shitasai, like Rabbi Akiva, since he holds that a tam that damages an adam pays nezek shalem from the aliyah, so I would have thought that what you paid the me'eved also if the tam does damage, kamash v'lon balashanaki that you don't. Amalei Rav Zeir Ravasi, but Taver Rabbi Akiva l'gaziza, we broke his punch, meaning we proved that why you only collect megufay and you don't collect from the aliyah. And if you only collect from gufay, go back to the original question of bring that shar in and you'll collect. It says Tanya Rabbi Kiva Yochli Shalim and Aliyah Tamalayman Kimishbrazei Yasaloi Migufa Mishalim and Mishalim and Aliyah. So therefore, your teretz of the teretz of Rabbi Yosef Bechanin also doesn't wash. Alama Rava, it's the you still need Balashanaki to tell me that a time doesn't pay Demei Eved. Sakadach min hoyel umachmireni be'eved Yosem ben Chayrin. I might think since we're more machmer by Eved more than ben Chayrin, why Shem ben Chayrin that's killed im Yafa Sela nice and Sela. If the kaif again kaifer goes according to machloikas the meinisik the mazik, but the meinisik let's say is a Sela, you're going to pay Sela. Shloishim nice Shloishim. Eved Yafa Sela nice Shloishim. So in other words, a very easy teretz. We find a chumrah by an eved. What's the chumrah by an eved? The chumrah by an eved is if the eved is worthless, you're going to pay 30. The person you always go. The person is 1-1, whatever it's worth. If it's worthless, you're going to pay shleisha. Now I could tell you it's a kula also. What happens if the eved is worth 1,000? You're still going to pay shleishim. So you look at Taisus. Taisus addresses it. The third Taisus down. The Eved Yafas Sela nice and Lamid. Afagav the Shava Kuf a nice and Elishim Frek Taisvis. there's a kula also. If it's worth more the eved, you're still only going to pay shloshim. Since you maxed out at shloshim, it's always going to be there. And Cain, gam kashar ain't shava klum kayemes. Even when the shar is, even it's worth nothing, right? You're still going to pay the shloshim. In other words, that dava kitzur we're going to take from the shar, no matter what. So therefore, that's the chumrah. Even if it's worth it, we're going to pay 30. Okay, so what's the teretz? Guys, look at me. You want to know why in the world Rabbi Akiva says that you need a pasuk to tell me that a shar that kills, that's a tam, does not pay shloshim, is because you might think it's wood. Why would you think it's wood? Because it's more chamer than any other animal. A tam pays megufay, shloshim shel eved, again, whatever it is, you're going to pay 30. It has this extra chumrah that even though the max you collect from the body, it doesn't make a difference. But we know that no matter what the evid's worth, you're going to pay 30. It has that chumrah. Vashenka, by a regular person, you're going to pay kaifer based upon his value, not based upon 30. And therefore, since it has that chumrah, I might think you pay chatzi kaifer, not chatzi kaifer. I might think you pay what? Eved, kamash malon, that you don't. Chatzachmana balashanaki. Tani kabasi the Rabba, this teretz has held serve, guys. Tani kabasi the Rabba. Bala Sharnaki, Rabbi Akiva Oimer, Naki Midmei Eved, right? Valoi Dinhu, that what we can learn from a Kal V'Chomer without a pasuk. Hoyel v'chayev be'eved, v'chayev ben chayrin. Ma'kesh v'chayev ben chayrin, chilakta ba ben tam l'muid, that tam doesn't pay kaifer, but a muid does pay kaifer. Afkesh achiyev be'eved, nechalik ba ben tam l'muid, and say what? That a muid pays and a tam doesn't. So why do I need a pasuk Bala Sharnaki to tell me a tam doesn't? It shouldn't be any different than a regular person killed. V'oid kal v'chaymer u'ma ben chayrin shen noisin kol sheveha chalakta b'bein tam l'muid. You're going to pay the whole amount, and you make a distinction between tam and muid. Evet shein noisin v'la shloishim. You only give 30, no matter what he's worth. Ein edin shenachlichus bein tam and muid. They should make a chiluk between tam and muid and say a tam is part from the meyeved. So therefore, what do we need a pasuk for? There's no havminim v'chayev. Says Merloi. It's not a good what. Like, you know why it's not a good svara? Because mechmareini be'eved yosem ben chayrin. It's bigger chumrah of eved ben chayrin. Sheben chayrin yafa sela noisim sela, shleishim noisim shleishim, be'eved yafa sela noisim shleishim, yachal yeh chayiv, tamid loymar, balashon naki midemei eved. It's naki what from the worth of an eved. So yotzim edvarinu, we make a sikam over here. How many dinim did we learn about balashon naki? First one was that it's asa ba'ana. Second one was that is Rabbi Eliezer Skatzi Kaifer. No, it was that the R is Asa Bahana. The R is Asa Bahana. Then we had Rabbi Eliezer Skatzi Kaifer. We had Rabbi Yossi Galili's. Rabbi Yossi Galili is the Mei Vlados, and we have Rabbi Akiva the Mei Eved. Bez Hashem Shir tomorrow morning. Let's say a kapitel to Tehillim.